In this video, I'm going to explain my recent experience with the healthcare system. I had 2 surgeries in 2 different hospitals. First, let me say the care and the facilities were both excellent. The process of getting that care was a little crazy. All right, this is Dr. Dylan Schwent.
Hello.
And how's this for an introduction? This is the man who saved my life. He took out my gallbladder, and I feel a lot better since then.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah,
go for it, whatever you. Yeah.
No, it's okay.
All right.
But, yeah.
Well, this is just a follow-up appointment, so
My goodness.
if that's something you need to do.
It is. I'm sorry.
Go for it. Go for it. I guess my first question is, how common is it for gallstone problems to go undiagnosed for about 6 months? Was my case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say not uncommon. A lot of people say that they've got heartburn or other kind of symptoms,
Yeah.
but usually kind of the classic symptoms would be just nausea after you eat, a pressure.
Yeah.
Some people have more of a sharp pain. Others will just kind of have a dull pressure, like a big band that goes to the back.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people do antacids and other things a long time before they finally get the gallbladder looked into.
Yeah, in my case, I had a blood test that showed something off with my liver, of all things,
Mm-hmm.
and that triggered the need for an ultrasound, and then they saw the gallstones, and that was pretty much
Exactly.
what we needed to take care
Yep.
of.
Yeah, I'd say the likely reason that your liver enzymes and the eventual what happened for your case was a gallstone pancreatitis.
Yeah.
So you were passing stones that got stuck at a spot where it shouldn't be, and the ducts that drained from the pancreas and the liver all got irritated, so it
Mm-hmm.
caused abnormal values to go up.
Yeah.
But yours is the more uncommon one, but you've been having all the irritation of the gallbladder and symptoms for just symptomatic gallstones, and then it became an emergency whenever it passed where it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you do. I'm sure you do these kind of surgeries all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's pretty common.
Yeah, and say number 1, 2, or 3 of the common surgeries we do as a general surgeon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Now you were in there. You saw the physical quantity and sizes and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Was I in like what you'd normally expect to see, or was it like worse, or was it like just kind of unusual in any way?
Not necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
No. So a lot of people will have gallstones, and just because you have gallstones doesn't mean you're going to have an issue, but you had just the right size that with eating something a little greasier or fatty food, I mean, that can even just be simple oils in the food.
Yeah.
Not necessarily butter and grease and all the good foods that we tend to eat, but if the gallbladder contracts and a stone leaves, it can become an emergency.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say that you had anything super abnormal,
Okay.
but because a lot of people do have those stones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you it wasn't fun. I mean, towards the end, it was getting worse. I don't mean the pain wasn't worse. It was just more frequent and longer lasting.
Right.
And I mean, I was on the ground, just convinced, okay, that's it. I'm just not going to eat anymore ever again.
Right.
Because food is not worth it when you have this kind of pain. So
Yep.
it was obviously something that needed to be taken care of.
Yep.
By the time that we did take care of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I know we had you on the schedule later that week and to do more of the
Yeah.
outpatient setting because your gallstones were causing enough pain.
Yeah.
But whenever you became an emergency as well, so you went from kind of the more common reason to the uncommon reason.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, what questions do you have for me as far as the normal follow-up?
Nope. We just kind of make sure at this point you're just eating and drinking well and
Yeah.
pain's
Appetite's
controlled.
My weight's back to normal, I'd say.
Yep.
one thing I was hoping to hear from you is that my diet can return to normal.
Yes, I'd say introduce the greasier foods, and that can just be simple oils too. Introduce that back into the diet slowly.
Okay.
And I'd say the first 6 weeks, the body's kind of readjusting to not having the gallbladder, but it picks up the function of having the bile go within the digestive tract. But some people will get loose stools or diarrhea, and if they eat something greasy, it can run through you pretty quickly.
Okay.
If that's past 6 weeks, we kind of say, just see what foods trigger it, what doesn't. But if it lasts more than 6 months, there's a medicine you can take to supplement and help if you're going to eat something extra rich, and you are one. I'd say it's not super common, but everyone knows somebody that's had their gallbladder out and they get loose stools, and that's annoying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Wendy's been taking your advice to heart, and we've been eating high fiber, low fat, no red meat, no dairy.
Yep.
You know, lots of broccoli and rice and fish and chicken. You know, our own chicken, so we raise those.
All good things.
Yeah. The other thing that I'm eager to be able to do again is I need to be able to lift 50 pounds. Like, that's a feed bag. When would you say I could do that?
And that'd be every surgeon's dependent and different, like if you're listening to it, but I'd say minimum 2 weeks, but more ideally a month. So, because
well, we're 2 weeks in now.
I'd say you can maybe by a third week get into it a little bit, but definitely lift with your legs, and it's more of the start and stop kind of lifts that will, because what you're wanting to prevent is a hernia, because the incision site, the typical is larger. Exactly. Kind of if you do more of a gradual lift, then it's going to be less tension over a longer period of time as opposed to a quick spike of tension. Which is what you don't want, like coughing or those kinds of things.
Is that for something internal, or is that just like the external incision points?
More so on the inside. So you have the layers of the belly wall. So you have like the six-pack ab muscles that have tendons that run along them. We find the middle part where those two connect and make a small incision, and that's where we introduce at least the larger incision to do the surgery. The other ones are so small that they don't have as much of a hernia risk, so we don't worry about those. All right. That one's got more stitches to hold that together so it can heal.
Well, I'm not taking any more pain medicine, and I'm doing just fine off of those. But right after the surgery, I could feel like it was tearing something that shouldn't be torn by just rolling over in bed.
Right.
You know, and I was sleeping with one of those big body pillows kind of clutched up so I would sort of support my abdomen, and that helped a lot.
Good.
But now I mean the movement is pretty normal for me, and I'm not feeling any of that kind of pain anymore.
That's good. Some people will say like coughing or other things. Just it's like you did 1,000 sit-ups and those muscles are very sore. So exactly what you described is what a lot of people have.
Well, I feel like I'm getting better faster. So
usually about 5 days out you're feeling a lot better, and by 2 weeks you're feeling even more better, and by 6 weeks it's you're even more back to the norm.
All right, so just no real sharp, sudden exertions, and for a few more weeks, and I should be all right then.
Exactly. And never have to worry about the gallbladder causing pancreatitis or pains again.
That's a good point. And maybe this is just psychological, but because of what I experienced.
Sorry.
Oh, no, that's all right. Just because of what I experienced, I'm like fearful of something like that happening again on the inside. That you know, do I trust my own guts to be doing the right thing here? But literally, there's no possibility that stones can develop anymore. And
it'd be exceedingly rare. So there are some where if you don't remove the entirety of the gallbladder, you can have a small little reservoir that could have stones, or if the bile's not exiting very well, it can build up a stone over a long period of time. But for you being pretty much normal, healthy, we got the whole gallbladder out, so don't have that extra little like stump of a gallbladder. And then, because that usually infection, you can have the safe way to get through the surgery sometimes is to leave a little bit, but nothing like that happened for you. So you remove the whole gallbladder, and the bile's flowing well, so it shouldn't be a problem for you. Especially with the ERCP or that extra procedure you got, because you did have a stone that was stuck.
That's a good point. Explain what ERCP is. So,
Yep.
'cause, I mean, the terminology, yeah.
Yep, so it's a endoscopic procedure. They go down with a camera and they go through the esophagus into the stomach and that first part of the small intestine. And then they introduce a little wire or a catheter into the bile ducts. And that's where the pancreas duct meets and the bile ducts. So they feed a little catheter in there and do x-ray with some dye. And they identify that you did have a stone. And then they make a little sphincterotomy. There's a muscle there that controls how well fluid gets out. And they basically just divide that muscle to where everything can flow out freely and got everything to flow again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, the way things worked out, it was some confusion.
I know.
Go for it.
Sorry.
So, yeah, I mean, the way things worked out, we were trying to figure out where I'm going to go for this second procedure that required a specialist.
Yep.
And we went here, and we went there, and we tried, anyways, just kind of a long story behind that. But the first surgeon that was going to do the procedure described it to me as him needing to be able to go in there and put a temporary stent in place, and then they'd have to go back in a few
Like
months,
6 weeks or
a few months later and take it out.
Right.
Long story short, the surgeon that actually did the procedure for me did a different technique. He described it as like a little balloon or something in there that could be drugged back through the system. Didn't need a stent, so I don't need any other follow-up procedure. So I'm happy about that.
Yep, they just clean the channel out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, different ways to do it.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm glad you're doing a lot better.
It was a Friday when I met with Dr. Schwint after getting that ultrasound that confirmed I had gallstones. It was pretty clear what we needed to do, so we scheduled an outpatient surgery that would happen the following Thursday, about a week later. He told me if I had pain that lasted more than a few hours, I should just come into the ER. It was pretty convenient because Dr. Schwint was going to be on call that weekend. Sure enough, that very night, I had pain that lasted all night and into the morning, so Wendy took me to the ER in Bolivar. They got me into a room right away and did some blood tests. Those blood tests suggested that there might be some complications if they did the gallbladder surgery right away, so the doctor decided to have me wait in the hospital overnight and see what new blood tests would show. Those blood tests were a little more encouraging, so we decided to just go ahead and do the gallbladder surgery. It was clearly explained to me that there was a 50-50 chance that we would probably run into a complication that would require a specialist who just wasn't available in Bolivar. They did the surgery on a Sunday. I had gone 2 days without sleep or solid food. Before the surgery, I was hungry and looking forward to eating again. In the hospital, they had me on a liquid-only diet. It's not the same thing as eating, but I did enjoy the popsicles. What a life experience. They wheeled me into the operation room with the big table that had those kind of weird little extensions for your arms and the big lights. I slid over onto the operation table, and right then I felt acutely aware of just what it was they were about to do to me. The mood was focused and serious, so I decided to try out one of my medical jokes. Did you hear the one about the dentist and the dermatologist who had to share office space? The partnership worked, but just by the skin of their teeth. Of course, they did keep me overnight at the hospital after the surgery, again on a liquid-only diet. So I was facing yet another night of no sleep or solid food. This is my only constructive criticism for the hospital in Bolivar. The IV stands that they have hooked up to all the patients, the alarms on those things are cranked up way too high. The hospital rooms are practically brand new. Envision this: floor-to-ceiling windows, a giant flat-screen TV mounted on the wall. Of course, the floors are gleaming and impermeable. Of course, all of those hard, reflective surfaces bounce sounds around in such a way that the nurses had a hard time telling exactly which room an alarm was coming from. That's why the alarms had to be cranked up so high. My suggestion is this: if they could install echo-absorbing panels, then maybe those alarms could be turned down a little. They definitely prevented me from falling asleep. You already know, of course, that I was going to need that second surgery. The next day, there was some debate about whether they should just transfer me directly to Springfield in an ambulance, or let me go ahead and go home and schedule an outpatient surgery for someplace, probably in Springfield. They called around, and sure enough, they were able to get me into an outpatient slot for that surgery the very next day. So because of that, I was released from the hospital in Bolivar, and I can't tell you what a relief it was to finally, after, what would it be, 3 days or so with no sleep, to finally be able to sleep at home in my own bed again. The outpatient surgery that was scheduled for the very next day had to be canceled. There was some confusion about my insurance, and if we had gone ahead with that surgery, we would have been out of pocket $24,000. There was some scrambling around, making calls, trying to find another place to have this surgery done, and they lined up a place for Thursday, so a few more days away, but it was going to be in Arkansas. Pretty inconvenient to drive that far for an outpatient procedure, but it was better than nothing. That doctor took a look at my blood test results and decided my bilirubin number, no, it's not a sandwich, it's an actual something or other in your blood. My bilirubin number was too high for me to be considered to be an outpatient in a procedure like that. So now I'm told I just have to go to the ER. Wendy took me to the ER in Springfield, and that's where the real fun began. My wife stayed with me at the hospital in Springfield, clear through until I was out of surgery. We had to wait in the ER waiting room for 14 hours. That's 14 hours before we could even go back where they had hospital beds and could do some tests. By that time, my bilirubin number was back to normal, so go figure. I had to wait until morning when the doctor would be available who could do the specialized ECRP procedure, I think it's called. They put me through an MRI to confirm that I still had a gallstone and where exactly it was. And they didn't actually admit me to the hospital, they just kept me in the ER. And the next morning, I was told that the one doctor who could do the procedure had a limited time to do a number of emergency procedures. And I was literally deemed, because of the gallbladder surgery, there wasn't much pain and my bilirubin number was normal. I was determined to be the lowest priority. I just had to wait and hope that nobody sicker came in to take my slot. It turned out it was okay. They did get me in the very last slot, so no problems with that procedure. And I'm grateful for that. While I was waiting in the ER, I overheard on the intercom something about a doctor leader. That gave me a ready-made joke for the new surgical team. Did you hear why Dr. Leader was officially reprimanded? He went out for a pint. Of course, they kept me in the hospital again overnight, again on a liquid-only diet. I could not have asked for a cooler room to recover in at that hospital in Springfield. I had a corner window and I was up on the 7th floor. I could overlook the ER wing with the helicopter pads. I did enjoy seeing the helicopters come in and land and then take off and fly away again. I was very much looking forward to going home and being done with all of this. And the next day, they did let me try a solid food breakfast, and I handled that pretty well, so I was sent home. Now, I have no idea how much all of this is going to cost me. I really haven't got a bill for any of this yet. But our insurance company has already sent us a letter saying that the hospital stay in Springfield particularly was not going to be covered. For some reason, they just decided that if I wasn't sick enough to be taken to that hospital in an ambulance, maybe I didn't really need to stay there overnight after all. We're appealing this because I was required to stay. That's what the doctors told me. So it's a little frustrating. Like I said, we're appealing the decision, and that's where we are now.
Are you goats ready for your grain treats tonight? Are you ready for your grain treats tonight?
Thanks for watching. Remember, your dreams are closer than the moon. Thanks for taking this trip around the moon with us.